You can see it spraying there. Yeah. As I accelerate, put the throttle down. Accelerate, put the throttle down. Accelerate, put the throttle down. Hi there folks. So we're on part 3 of getting this Bedford running sweet. If you haven't seen the previous video, please check it out, link in the description. That's where we fitted the new ignition parts, because there was issues there. And now we're about to take the carburettor off, where, to be fair, I did suspect the issue could have been all along. So let's go take a look. It was sunny a minute ago. These they look like normal clouds. Right. Hoping there's enough light in here for you guys to see. So here we have the carburettor. Not exactly much to disconnect. And to disconnect the throttle cable, choke cable, petrol pipe, intake pipe, and unbolt it off the manifold there. So, grab a few tools. I'm sure I'll have to walk back to the workshop for more. But let's get this carburettor removed. Right, I'm going to sit you there because I know you're good at falling off. I'm just perched on the front wing above the wheel, technically outside the cab. Get that split pin from there. Who the hell folded that over? Yeah, looks easier. Oh, I made a rookie mistake here. I didn't bring a little cardboard box to put my bits and pieces in. Put on this little shelf. Ooh. That needs relocating. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Choke cable. Now it was noted we did have a fuel leak from under here the other day. Might have gone really tight at the end. There she flies. Come on, out the boat. Right, next. Oh, but I didn't bring anything that'll fit that. Yeah, that'd have been too easy. Yeah, so I will be going back to the workshop. Fuel pipe off. Next. We've got the air intake pipe, and that one is for crankcase ventilation. Prior to that, the crankcase used to be just vented out, basically outside, and would go through a tube that pointed down at the floor and it would just dribble oil down the road. We'll have that off. We'll have that off. There we can see the baby carburettor. Interesting. So, right guys, I'm going to get something to undo that one. There's nothing small enough here to do it. And then we can undo these base nuts and lift the carburettor off and take a closer look. Right, that's undone. Outer cable unclamped. That just leaves the actual carburettor base flange nuts. I've got a feeling they're going to be a size I've not got with me. That is the joys of this old sort of things. You do come across some unusual sizes. That'll do. Right. Right. Get the ring end on? No, silly. Very close. Ah no, I've got a suitable spanner for that. Oh, this might be a faff, but at least it's simple. There's nothing wrong with simple, folks. At least this old girl doesn't have to connect to the internet just to fuel up. I wish I wasn't so old. It's getting comfy, it's not so easy as you get older. Finger tight now. By design, as you wind the nuts off, it does actually lift the carburettor up. It means you must be free. Oh, proper finger end job. There she flies. Yeah, we've still got the vacuum pipe to the distributor. Get that disconnected. Oh, this might be a faff, but at least it's simple. There's nothing wrong with simple, folks. At least this old girl doesn't have to connect to the internet just to fuel up. Right, just get this little vacuum pipe off. A lot of petrol floating about at the moment. It's definitely getting a good supply to the carburettor. It's more a case of what happens to it then now. There she glides. So, one very dribbling carburettor. So let's get that into the workshop, folks. So here it is, we have it off the vehicle. Solex single choke carburettor. I'll be honest, I'm not familiar with these, but I do know that's probably not a good sign. So basically it's going to be a strip and rebuild, see if there's any faults within. Like I say, I'm not familiar with this actual carburettor itself, but the basic principles of carburation are pretty common between all carburettors. You need an idling system, you need a full throttle system, and you also need to get between the two. So quite often you will have an enrichment device and also a choke device for cold starting. So I think I shall gather some information on this carburettor before I actually tear it down. But at least it's a clean specimen to work on. One thing we will do, yeah, that's never a good thing. Yep, definitely needs some love. Well, it's a couple of days later and said rebuild kit has arrived. Thank you, Dave. So now we can actually investigate the carburettor first. Now, I must admit this diagram is brilliant. However, it would have been nice if it had actually shown what all the numbers were. Because pretty much all different carburettors have different ways of doing pretty much the same thing. And if we'd have been armed knowing exactly what things are, we could have explained it to you better. So we're just going to have to work it out as we go along, folks. Mainly, we just want to see something that would cause fuel starvation issues or just general bad fueling, sucking air in, anything that stops this Bedford running sweet. So let's make a start. Hopefully it's just full of muck. Right, so I did actually find this little piece of instant gasket just inside here, which is never a good sign. So let's see what we find. We do have a little gauze in there, I believe. Looks pretty clean to me. Which is a good sign because we don't actually have a new one. Right, so in here we should have a needle valve. I think I found our problem, folks. Look at this coming off. It's never a good sign. How many screws have got on that? Right. So I need the end bit off first. Have it tight up. Well, I'll be honest folks, finding dirt as soon as I enter the carburettor, that's kind of a good sign, because if that's all it is, and the gasket set, little kit there should be enough to sort the problems out. And this problem of what I'm guessing will be a very furry float bowl. There we go. Yep, there's muck in there, folks. Let's put the screws in that bit. Okay, it came off. Let's come off. Alright, so that bombshell we should be able to this should allow access into the float bowl. Currently getting high on the smell of petrol fumes. You'll have to bear with me folks, it's not exactly a spectator sport, is it? And these are the same size. There we go. There she flies. Right, now it's a tight fit. Have a look, can we And prise it apart, folks. She flies. No, I've seen a lot worse. Yeah, there's definitely evidence of dirt in there, folks. So hopefully, with a good clean up of everything, well, obviously I need to strip the rest of it, but yeah, it's looking like dirt related. So that's good. So, let's get the rest of it stripped. And what we'll do is split the upper and lower parts. That would explain the blue instant gasket. The question is, does actually... Oh yes, there's a hole down in there, which then goes downwards and into the float bowl. Other than that, it seems to have no use. I would say it doesn't really need a gasket, because at that point, yeah, it's not affecting the fueling. I wouldn't have thought. Anyway, let's get it separated. So far everything's coming undone quite well. There we go. Set that, which I would say would be the idle mixture screw. Good candidate for having muck behind it. And that seems to be on a bit of a slope. Yeah, a lot of muck and crap behind there, folks. However, that's what I want to see. I want to see plenty of muck, because muck can be cleaned out. Alright. Good. I'll load her out now, folks. Just held in the gasket. There she flies. So there's the throttle butterfly in there. Because all these little holes and things all correspond to other little holes. Right, so at least now we're in two pieces. And the jet's out of here. That one's clear. Seen a lot of muck in here, folks. Yeah, as you can see in there. Right. I suppose. No, I won't turn that one out. That one out. Not quite sure what that's for. Maybe there's a tiny hole in there. Right, still that to take out. I need a spanner for that. Yeah, get in there now. Look at that, folks. You see all the muck around there? I'm pretty sure that's the main jet. Looks rather blocked up. In fact, there's actually another jet in the other end of there. When it comes through, it feeds the main jet. And that little tube is known as an emulsion tube, and it helps atomize the fuel and air. And it has little holes down it. And you can see those. And it's dependent on those holes whether it runs rich or lean at certain RPM ranges through what is basically an auxiliary venturi, similar to what they use in the Weber carbs. So, looking good. Oh, I see what that is. Oh, I don't want to move. It has a removable venturi, folks, but it seems a bit stuck at the moment. Oh well, not to worry. We shall continue. Work. So there's the venturi removed. As you can see, it's shaped, it narrows at that point, and it's that what actually speeds the air up as it goes through the carburetor and helps pull the fuel through the jets. So we're pretty much stripped enough of that so that can be cleaned up. Next up is this. I don't think we need the throttle out of it really. I don't think it's going to gain us anything. We're going to clear out and clean out of all these little holes and things well. So that's off there. Come on. Just trying to keep everything together for now. These components can be actually stripped down at the point of cleaning them, put back together and put back on. Yeah, lovely. This is actually the choke. Rather interesting setup. The good thing with taking things apart is actually learn how they work. Now, we did have a leak off this choke unit, but looking at what issues this carburettor has got with all its muck, it's kind of understandable. Cleaning that. Right. About ready to get some parts cleaned up, folks. So, cleaning the bits up. This actually feeds the main fueling of the carburettor. Even that's partially blocked, so I shall go give that a clean. On with the other little jets that came out, and then we can start putting this little carburettor back together, folks. Right, look in the bag. That looks like the base gasket. That goes there. Screws. Right, get them screws in and start assembling the cab. Well, folks, I've blown all the little channel ways out in the carburettor, and they're all getting a good volume of air through them. We did have a few little blockages to start with. One thing with carburettors, folks, is to never over tighten things. Many a carburettor are actually deformed by people tightening up the base flanges too tight, or the some carburetors have sort of a lid and they can get deformed. Do for them. There's the top and the bottom back together. Yeah. Ah, the bag. Oh, come on, all of you. Right. So. Not that one. What about that one? There we go. You go in there. Just screw everything in by my fingers to start with. Go in there. Right. Oh, it's got some jets to clean out. So I'll give them a blowout with the airline. We can get those back in here. And we still need to take apart this part and just check what's going on there. We've got we have these which feel very rubbery. Unfortunately, old rubber and modern fuels don't mix very well, unfortunately. Right. Right, idle mixture screw. You can see it's a tapered screw, which you don't just tighten in tight. It's to be set. So gently wind it in until it just touches the seat, and then normally I'd go between 1 and 1.5 turns, but on this we'll go out 2 turns for now, and we can adjust that once it's fitted and running. I do have a rather old, what was known as a colour tune, which is a spark plug with a little glass window in it, so you can see the colour of the flame as the engine fires, and from that you can sort of set how rich or lean it is. So that's something to look forward to. Not used one in about 30 years. Anyway, back to this. Better give that a clean, folks. So, been cleaning out the little channels, and as you can see, some of them are really tiny. That one was partially blocked. So it's well worth stripping this down just to solve these little issues. The gasket on the other side, idiot. Oh. Making sure that little bit of tube that comes through is through the rubber, because it needs to sit in that little hole there. Put some screws in. Seems to have a screw missing. That's rolled off to. Seems to have wandered off. Anyway, all present and correct now. So you don't have to swing off these. Right. So, I think what we'll do is we'll take this apart now We can give it a clean out, because looking in there it's full of muck, and that's right where that jet sits. So at least we are finding problems, folks, which can be rectified. So, moving on. I think it's safe to say this, folks, is an enrichment device. It works like a diaphragm, and I should think that probably, as you open the throttle and the vacuum drops in the manifold, it probably lets go of that and squirts fuel into the venturi of the carburettor, so it doesn't splutter and cough as it tries to rev up. But if you can see there, folks, the old bloody ethanol mess. So, 2 screws to take out and see what's inside. Yeah, I see. There's a little split pin in that. It's a bit fiddly. So that is a little split pin. Bloody tiny. Strange. Yeah, there she flies. You want to come apart, folks? Well, you're going to get bored of me fumbling about, so I'll bring you back when I've got it apart. There she flies. Yeah. Interesting. Looks like we make up the diaphragm, folks. Well, I'm hungry, it's tea time. So I think what we shall do is call it there for today and continue this tomorrow. Well, it's the next day. Just been working on that. That's sorted now. So now I can come back to the carburettor. And what we're on with now is the actual, that's it, enrichment device, the accelerator pump, which works on vacuum. And that could be why it was having some issues. Anyway, I want to get this bit back together with its new new diaphragms. Right, folks, some good news and bad news. Yeah, the bad news first. Yeah, the GoPro went off, so I've been stood here putting the carburettor back together and just talking to myself, not you guys. The good news is the carburettor is back together, and at least we've found issues in there which would give, how should we say, the symptoms it did. So the next thing to do is to go and clean the manifold face off where she sits, and then we can get her back on. Looking more and more like rain, folks. So I'll go and take the covers back off the engine, clean up the manifold face, get the carb back on, nick the battery off my Rover, and now we can see if she'll start, folks. So let's crack on. So back in the cab, a hole and a space for a carburetor to go. So I'm going to get that on, and then we can think about giving it a try, folks. So I'll try and find somewhere for you to perch, and we'll take it from there. I'll bung you there. I'm sure you'll fall off at some point, but there you go. Right. Gaskets. That little chap to pop in once we get it in place. Now the problem with these carburetors is the studs come up so far, you kind of got to put the nut on before the carburetor sits down fully. You sit there a minute. Oh, there's a bloody balancing act in here also, yeah. Where have you gone? Get on. Just, yeah. I'm in a position that I can't really see. That doesn't help matters. Give me the nut. I should have brought a cushion, folks. There's a thread. Right, give them a tighten and find some spanners and sat on them. And remember, folks, when tightening the carburetor down, don't over tighten it. You will deform the base flange. I'd rather not quite tighten it enough and have to give it a nip up after it's run and warmed through, gone through a heat cycle. Glad to say we've come across quite a few issues in the carb. All thanks to modern petrol, I would say. So if you're running a classic, be very careful of what fuel you put in. I suggest you don't touch E10 petrol and just stick to the E5. However, if you know somewhere that sells leaded fuel, I suggest you use that, because I suspect it doesn't have the ethanol content. Right, well, that's back in place. The vacuum pipe for the distributor. Alright, now this is just on a fuel pipe, so I think I'll just leave that somewhere there, give it a nip. Again, don't go mad with things, it's always better to have to retighten it and then replace it. Right, so basically fuel pipe on, throttle linkage and choke cable. Choke cable. Can't remember exactly which way that came through though. Oh, get in there. This is probably going to get boring while I do the fiddly bits, so I'll bring you back when they're on. Well, carburettor on. Pretty much good to go, but I have noticed one little issue. When I press the throttle, that's at idle, doesn't quite make it to full throttle. And that will be in this linkage, which maybe has some adjustment in it. But we don't need full throttle where we're going just yet, do we? So, I think we can think about getting some petrol, getting a battery, and, well, yeah. See if this thing will start up and see what she runs like. There could be other issues, but we definitely found a few in that carburettor. So, next up, start up. Well folks, it's Friday and somebody knew I was going to have a go at starting this thing up. Here he is.
Ignore that, don't ask.
So today's the day. Everything's in place, battery's on, fuel pipe connected to the jerry can, well, plastic can.
Temporary fuel tank.
Yes. I should think it'll take a bit of winding over to get some fuel into the carb, but then hopefully she will burst into life. Right, I did prime the carburettor with a bit of fuel into the float bowl, so hopefully she will strike up. I think we're good to go, aren't we?
I reckon.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
There you
go. Ignition on. I don't think we'll need the choke today, to be fair.
Give it a go, it's a bit warm, isn't it? Might be alright.
Is that in the middle position?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, I'll give it a go. Ooh. Alright, maybe I'll give it a bit of choke.
Right?
This, look early.
Yeah. That's sucking underneath that. Yeah, it's sucking where that meets that plate.
Yeah, well, the first that road. That is. That doesn't sound too bad.
I think it's idle.
The top high, but yeah, it's more than attractive. Hold it.
Gonna have to look through there.
Well, it smells quite petrol-y. Oh, we're seeing good. You can see it spraying there.
Yeah.
As I accelerate, put the throttle down. Whoa. Yeah, it's an idea running a bit rich. Yeah. Anyway, it runs. That sounds quite stable. With that stuff, I think that's a job well done. Well, yeah, the sucking of air through there does seem odd.
Yeah.
I think there's actually a hole at the bottom.
What's?
Yeah, it's wet.
Because what's this doing?
That is to make the manifold warm up quicker.
Oh, okay. Because as you're revving, that's doing
Oh
its
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Well,
It's
it's not something I've ever seen.
yeah, the
before.
bottom of that is wet.
This.
Yeah. And it does seem to suck a hell of a lot.
I think it's supposed to close off.
Put it to the middle. Is that closed?
No. That's closed.
That's closed. Well, hang on then. It's just.
Yeah, that's throwing fuel out at the bottom of that.
Right, well, that's not good.
That's not good.
Oh yeah, we're pissing fuel out. I see it dripping. So is that the cable fully?
No.
There's like a hole in there.
That's sort of like half
Yeah.
choke. No.
That should be
Half
off.
open, half choke, whichever way you like. That's fully open, and that's choke.
Right, we'll put it into the fully open.
There is like a hole that falls into there.
Yeah. Same thing though. It's affecting it. Yeah. I mean, I don't quite know how that choke is meant to work. Anyway. Where's she run?
And then that blew back then, when you turned that on.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to look into that choke really. Well, everything else seems to be doing what it's meant to be doing. Right, one more go. That's not bad, is it? Well folks, I think that's a success. Still needs a bit of fettling.
Bit of fettling.
But at least it's not spluttering and coughing and banging and all that jazz. So, are we going to find out about this t-shirt? Should we ask?
You can ask.
Well folks, thanks for making it to the end, because it's been quite a long video, but at least it's been a success and we've cured the spluttering, and she does run a bit better. Still a few things to fettle, but definitely an improvement. So, on that bombshell, I think we'll call it for this one.
Call it a day.
Yeah, I think we'll go and have a cuppa. So on that bombshell, catch you on the next one folks.